And in the UK today, papers are awash with a highly heated first election TV debate between Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn. Well, let's kick off the conversation with that as Juliana joins us now on the show from London. Hello, Juliana. Good afternoon. So what are the markets making of yesterday's first televised election debate between Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn?
Oh, good afternoon, Chimaze. Well, the election debate last night was lacklustre, to say the least. The responses this morning that are coming out, not just from the markets, but from the average person on the streets, not very good. I think it was not just the content that was lacking, it was the format. It was an hour-long debate, and both the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the opposition Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, they didn't really get enough time to interact with one another, and they also didn't get enough time to talk about some of the pressing issues that are, of course, affecting Brits up and down the country. A snap poll that was taken just minutes after the debate finished did show Boris Johnson in the lead, and as long as the Tory party stay ahead of Labour in the polls, we're not going to see much of a mover or shaker from the equities market. There has been a 100-point drop off the FTSE All-Share at intraday, and it's mainly due to Donald Trump's threats to impose higher tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the US. But let's have a look at the numbers. The FTSE All-Share is down 1.21% at intraday. The FTSE 100 is down 1.37%, and the FTSE 250 is down 0.72%. In currencies, British pound is down on the US dollar by 0.20%, also down on the euro by 0.07%, and down on the Japanese yen by 0.27%. Not a great day for sterling.
All right, earnings for a whole raft of companies on the wire, from M&B to Kingfisher. Which of these corporate news is moving the markets today?
Well, I spoke about it with Bosun this morning, but Kingfisher, they're the umbrella company of B&Q. B&Q, a really popular name here in the UK. Their shares tumbled about 5% at early trading. That's because they've produced some really abysmal Q3 updates. They're saying that updates in Q4 shouldn't be any better. They're trying to really reposition their company, and they've got a new CEO. He's been there for about 6 weeks. Mitchells and Butlers, they're having a good day on the FTSE 250. They're the umbrella company of some really popular pubs and bars in the UK, Harvester being one of them, All Bar One being another. They've got about 1,700 establishments dotted across the country. And even though casual dining isn't doing so well here in the UK, it seems like people do like to get a drink after work. So their shares were up 7% when they posted their results. Not good for some of the oil majors on the FTSE All-Share. BP and Royal Dutch Shell have fallen 1.5 to about 1.8%, and that's because there has been a drop in crude oil prices.
All right, an interesting one that caught my attention this morning. Forbes, of course, is publishing its report into the world's most powerful women. Now, but a new report from think tank Demos is calling on the next UK government to introduce a self-employed national minimum wage to improve financial security for lower paid self-employed workers. What is being said about this report on the street of London?
Well, it's no surprise in the UK that casual work, or liquid workers, as what they're calling, is really topping up the UK economy. So this is people who are freelancers, people who've got 0-hour contracts. Also, as well, a lot of people that are working in the gig economy, which is Uber drivers, Deliveroo. So you kind of switch on and off on your phone or your tablet. This think tank, these employment experts are saying that not enough is being done to protect these workers' rights, that unlike full-time contracted staff who get sick pay, maternity pay and other benefits, they are not. So even though it seems as if they're pretty flexible, they want the government to do more to protect them. One of the ways that they are insisting that is increasing their minimum wage. They actually want their minimum wage to be higher than the London living wage and higher than most full-time workers. And that really is just to take the cost and the burden of the issues that they have. The report goes on to say that most of the people that are casual workers in the UK are more likely to take out loans from payday loan lenders. Payday loan lenders usually charge horrifically high interest rates on any loan that you take out. And also as well, financial products such as getting a loan or getting a mortgage is much more difficult for those people. So Demos believe that if the government rack up those wages, they'll be much better off in the long run.
All right, Juliana, let's chat tomorrow. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day. And in Asia, stocks declined today as U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to raise tariffs on Chinese goods if the two economic powerhouses do not strike a deal. Mainland Chinese stocks ended the day lower. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index slipped about 0.73%. Japan's Nikkei 225 slipped 0.62%. The ASX 200 in Australia declined 1.35%. South Korea's Kospi shared 1.3%. And in the U.S., index futures were lower this morning at around 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Dow futures fell 124 points, indicating a negative open of more than 132 points. Futures on the S&P and Nasdaq were also pointing to a slightly lower open. Elsewhere, investors are waiting minutes from the Federal Reserve's October policy meeting. There are no major data points today. In terms of earnings, Lowe's, Target and L Brands are due to report their latest results. Okay, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we look at the global aviation sector as well as other stories. Do stay with us.